Every story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
A very good evening to you and welcome to CoreTV Primetime News. I am Nena Nyama. On our top stories tonight, the federal government is set to carry out a review of Nigeria's foreign missions with a view to determining those that are essential. Also in this program, the Ministry of Power says about 948 billion naira has been spent on the sector since 1999. Nigerians join the rest of the world to mark International Literacy Day. And outside Nigeria, Thai police says one of the suspects apprehended for last month's deadly bomb attack at a popular shrine in Bangkok is confessed to possessing banned explosives. Thanks for joining us tonight. The federal government is set to carry out a review of Nigeria's foreign missions with a view to determining those that are essential. President Muhammadu Buhari said after being briefed by the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Bulus Lolo, that a presidential committee will soon be re-established to carry out the review. He also demanded for a record of former government officials and other persons still using diplomatic and official passports to enable the government to take necessary action against them. The Permanent Secretary later gave State House correspondents more insight into the President's directive. The youth wing of the Pan-Igbo Socio-Cultural Organization, Ohanaeze Ndigbo, has demanded an unconditional apology from human rights lawyer Festus Keyamo for dismissing and describing the outrage by Ndigbo over the exclusion and federal appointments as mere noise. In a statement in Umuahia, Abia State, the national president of the Ohanaeze Youth Congress, Okechukwu Isiguzuru, said Keyamo only resorted to attacking the Ndigbo for cheap public notice. Isiguzuru maintained that it is unfortunate that a lawyer of his caliber would see nothing wrong with what he described as the deliberate exclusion of a whole geopolitical zone from the over 30 key political appointments. The OIC warned Keyamo to tread with caution over his remarks on issues affecting the Igbo nation. It will be recalled that Keyamo, while defending President Muhammadu Buhari, has said those criticizing the president are political job seekers. A chieftain of the All Progressive Congress in Kaduna, Kelaini Muhammad, has held steps taking the Buhari administration to stem the tide of corruption in Nigeria. He said at a news conference that the president had, within his first 100 days in office, revoked the licenses of 39 non-existent companies that have been milking the country dry. The APC member also commended President Buhari and his deputy for declaring the assets publicly.
President Buhari has revoked the licenses of 30 fake non-existent portfolio organizations out of 46 that own oil wells, which merely milk the country. It is noteworthy to mention that Niger Deltas are now happier because President Buhari released $20 million for the clearing of oil spillage in Ogoniland and ordered for the payment of Niger Delta militants in line with the amnesty program of the federal government that was truncated by the last administration. To crown it all, President Buhari with the Vice President have publicly declared their assets. This booster and encouragement is a move in the right direction and should be emulated by all political leaders. Another major stride of Buhari is the reinstatement of wrongfully jailed, dismissed soldiers, restructuring the actual corrupt, inefficient Directorate of State Security and the military hierarchy.
Former President Olusegun Obasanjo showed up at the presidential villa for a meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari. The two leaders met for about 1 hour, after which they both stepped out of the president's office. The former president, however, refused to speak to journalists when approached by the journalists. The Ministry of Power says about 948 billion naira has been spent on the sector since 1999. Permanent Secretary in the ministry, God knows Igali, disclosed this at the opening of a Senate investigative hearing on the power sector in Abuja. Igali, however, admitted that the power situation in the country is a far cry from what attains in developed economy, in spite of the expenditure. Pius Samuel now reports. Inspector General of Police Solomon Arasi has ordered an immediate clampdown on individuals or groups inciting violence and social disorder across the country. Police spokesperson Olabisi Kolawole said this in a statement issued in Abuja. She explained that the directive was in the aftermath of recent activities of members of the Movement for the Actualization of Sovereign State of Biafra, MASOB, and the indigenous people of Biafra in some parts of the country. The police high command maintained that the operational order is meant to empower the police to arrest anybody fomenting any act of violence or disorder, or any act inimical to the security of the nation. It, however, revealed that 22 persons have so far been arrested and will soon be charged to court. The Nigerian Army says it has uncovered plots by some foreign media, non-governmental organizations and local civil rights groups to cast the military in bad light. This, it says, is with a view to disrupting the ongoing fight against Boko Haram in the northeast. The Army, in a statement issued today by its spokesman, Colonel Sani Usman, revealed that the plan involves indictment of the Nigerian military of human rights abuses in the ongoing war against insurgency. But Sani insisted that the Nigerian Army is committed to upholding human rights principles in practice and will not condone any human rights violation by its personnel. We'll take a break now. We're back with more stories. To stay with us.
This is what the people are saying.
You don't run a big economy with generator. They need to do more in terms of energy and power.
Many things to do for this Nigeria about lights, water, and nudity.
For Nigerians that are not gullible, we know that good laws have done nothing good for this country.
Buhari won the election convincingly.
Talk to your husband that you should keep promise about what you said, and because people are watching you, you know, another election is coming.
Because some people will stand for Yoruba land, will be strong man, you don't die.
This nation is moving forward. The best is going to take place.
The people giving voice to the voiceless.
Some pundits believe that as long as the political system is driven by selected few, corruption may be difficult to fight.
You should be careful about what you say.
I am not the only politician. Even if I've wronged anyone, it is time to forgive me.
Political Arena every Sunday at 9:15 p.m. and a repeat broadcast every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m.
Glad to have you back. Here are top stories tonight. The federal government is set to carry out a review of Nigeria's foreign missions with a view to determining those that are essential. Also in this program, the Ministry of Power says about 948 billion naira has been spent on the sector since 1999. Nigerians join the rest of the world to mark International Literacy Day. For more of our news stories, you can join us on our social media platforms, facebook.com/CoreTV News, on Twitter at CoreTV News NG, and on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/CoreTV News. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has assured residents of Kogi State that everything is set for the conduct of a free, fair and credible election during the governorship election in November 21. The State Resident Electoral Commissioner Hussein Halilu Pai made a statement after an assessment tour on the ongoing continuous voters registration (CVR) exercise in the state. He said the Commission is doing everything possible to put in place some centers for those living in difficult terrain for easy voting. Pai further noted that the Commission is learned from the past, assuring electorate of a smooth ride at the polls. The Rivers State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal sitting in Abuja has refused an application to stay proceedings on the suit challenging the victory of Governor Nyesom Wike. Governor Wike and PDP had asked the tribunal to stay proceedings until the tribunal carries out the judgment of appeal court, which directed it to deliver ruling on pending applications at the court. But in a short ruling, the new chairman of the tribunal, Justice Suleiman Ambrosa, held that he will comply with the judgment at a date appropriate for him. Defense counsel Emmanuel Ukala, who is not satisfied with the ruling, reminded the judge of the need to execute the appellate court's judgment before proceeding with the petition. But counsel to the petitioner, Akin Olujimi, urged the court to discountenance the objection and proceed with the hearing. In another ruling, Justice Ambrosa upheld his earlier ruling and ordered the petitioner's counsels to call their witnesses. One of the witnesses, Ochoma Clinton, told the court during cross-examination how thugs loyal to PDP carted away election materials and prevented people from voting in the states. The United Nations has handed out relief materials to internally displaced persons in Taraba State. This was done in conjunction with the State Emergency Management Agency. Oduak Godwin reports that there are over 45,000 IDPs in the states.
To the representatives of the organizations, the non-food items are to serve as a succor for IDPs as a result of their displacement from their domains. They disclosed that the affected persons who fled insurgency in other parts of the country are over 50,000 and are scattered across the relatively peaceful Taraba state.
We are targeting initially 150 households today with non-food items. You can see that there are different categories of IDPs in Taraba state. We have those who are displaced because of insurgency from neighboring states. And then we have those who are displaced because of communal crisis. So this one we're initially targeting the ones that were displaced because of, insurgency in the northeast.
Because the situation is so pathetic, and with the government cannot handle it, that is why we have to invite other partners to partner with us to assist them. We have given them support in several ways. We have been visiting them. And when we get other partners from outside, we bring them to them so that they will partner with us to see that we meet their needs.
While distributing the items, the emergency workers expressed grief over the situation of the IDPs and expressed hope the security situation will improve soon. In accepting the gesture, the beneficiaries expressed their gratitude. My sincere appreciation goes to the UN and the state government for their support and accommodating us. Despite our numbers, may God greatly reward them.
And we pray that may God strengthen the effort of the UN and the Red Cross for their assistance and help being rendered to us.
While calling for collective prayers from Nigerians for an end to the Boko Haram insurgency, these IDPs from Borno and Adamawa states also want Nigerians to extend helping hands to them. Udwa Godwin, CoreTV News, Jalingo.
As the world marks International Literacy Day, Ekiti State has organized a one-day education summit in what it tagged Reclaiming the Lost Glory. While Ekiti State takes pride as being called the fountain of knowledge, the state government decries the backwardness of the state educationally and gathers stakeholders to chart ways forward. This is coming as the state governor, Ayodele Fayose, asks teachers to prepare for assessment tests. Rashid has more from Ado Ekiti.
The theme for this year's International Literacy Day is Literacy and Sustainable Societies. Ekiti State took a cue by bringing together academic stakeholders to discuss the way forward in the education sector. Commissioner for Education, Jude Egunjobi, spoke on the need for such summit at this time. Governor Ayodele Fayose in his remark promised to implement the resolution of the summit while informing Ekiti teachers to prepare for assessment tests.
If I ask you to come and sit down and write exam, that is not to weed you. No. It's just to keep you on track. But where we need to put you to test, to see, to improve you, to train you, bring people to come and train you inside this hall.
While speakers make their contributions on ways forward, the Bishop of Ekiti Catholic Diocese, Bishop Felix Ajakai, advised the government to look into the resolutions of education summits earlier held in the state.
So the President Governor of Ekiti administration to study the outcome of the 2011 Education Summit as regards to 2003. It is then that we can collect the summit organized by the Village administration, because we are also part of it.
As today marks World Literacy Day world over, and Ekiti State having its education summit, Ekiti State is known as the fountain of knowledge, and it is no doubt that the decisions reached here today is going to have a far-reaching effect on the people of Ekiti, as Ekiti State is known as those who parade the highest people as far as the educational sector in this country is concerned. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado Ekiti.
Still on the World Literacy Day, CoreTV Netu Ilabari takes a look at a dwindling reading culture among Nigerians. Her report is presented from our studios.
According to a United Nations educational, scientific and cultural organization, a literate person is one who can both read and write with understanding. Reading serves as a means of liberating and developing individual educational efforts. Continuous exposure to literature materials, according to UNESCO, afford individuals the opportunity of inculcating values of national integration, family tradition, economic status, among others. According to UN analysis, over 776 million people lack minimum literacy skill globally. What can governments do to improve lack of reading interest among the people?
I think the government needs to do something conscious and something that makes a lot of sense. We need to change our curriculum, the educational curriculum we have in this country at this moment, and then we need to give a lot of access to people to have opportunity of coming to school, particularly the girl child. Because you find that in most environment, the girl child is the one that bears the brunt of illiteracy. And so we need to make conscious efforts, and then we need to break down barriers, which is what the government can do, dissuade people in thinking that education is wrong, or when you get educated, it takes you out of context with the society or political with family, and also look at cultural situations and then make that situation better so that people understand that to be educated or to have a bit of level of literacy does not detach you from family or from culture.
The question is, what are the views of Nigerians about the dwindling reading culture in the country?
I could see my little cousin. I used to underrate him. I mean, he's barely 6 years old, and I gave him a test. I got the shocker of my life. I gave him a full page note to read, and I got a serious shocker. He'll be 6 next month. I mean, at my time, I can't even boast I could read at that age.
No, really. Because even from school, afterwards when they go to school and they come back, many parents are not at home to even be with them to encourage them. Many are with housemates, maybe their grandparents or somebody else. It is mostly the rich that have teachers coming in.
Formerly, in the public school, it has increased now because of the kind of government that we have now that are serious about education. But in the private sector, it has reduced. Why? Yeah, because most of the private sector, they go into the educational system because they want to make money.
Basically, I believe that we can still go a long way to improve our reading culture by trying to streamline and guide our kids, our youth, into reading effective materials that would, that will impact their life positively. But in the total sense of it, I believe the reading culture has improved a bit.
Nigerians like reading, and they would really love to read if they are being encouraged to read. By giving a conducive environment, they will actually read.
Most times you see them with on social media, with phone and other stuff. They don't read these days like our days.
As Nigerians continue to blame the rising influence of social media for the poor reading culture in the country, suggestions to government are a review of existing school curriculum to make room for compulsory reading among students and tapping into the positive potentials of the social media as a way of regulating the reading culture across the country.
We'll go for a break now. We're back with more stories on business and foreign news. Just stay with us.
Is it crazy or autocracy? Or what type of crazy is that? Except crazy.
News making the headlines.
Black Maria is to carry criminals, trading looters that are in government today.
Sometimes it gets confrontational.
Slap you in the face. They don't put words into my mouth.
Whatever it is that will bring our military to disrepute. I said to hell
on Core Digest.
I want to know why I should be believing them.
Every weekday, we bring all of these together and take them to the court of public opinion.
Everybody has a right in Nigeria.
Where you are the judge.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then news. CoreTV News, our 24-hour news station.
Glad to have you back in business. The Nigeria Export Promotion Council says it is looking at ways of reviewing the European Union's ban of products from Nigeria. The Executive Director of the Nigeria Export Promotion Council, Olusegun Awolowo, said the ban could lead to a drop of over $6 billion exportable goods from developing countries by 2016. He maintained that issues of poor packaging, non-adherence to food safety measures, and non-compliance to administrative procedures have characterized product exports from Nigeria to countries in Europe. Some of the food items banned till 2016 include beans, sesame seeds, melon seeds, dried fish, meat, peanut chips, and palm oil. Still in business, the federal government has constituted 2 committees to reduce the level of rejection of non-oil products exported from the country. This development follows the many cases of rejection of Nigeria's exported products, mostly in European countries. The Executive Director, Nigerian Export Promotion Council, Segun Awolowo, said the committees are the Trade Information, Export Procedure and Documentation Committee and the Capacity Building, Quality Standards and Compliance Committee. Awolowo explained that the committees will be charged with the responsibility of proposing measures to address the bottlenecks associated with export procedures of made-in-Nigeria products and also propose measures that will enhance trade facilitation between Nigeria and trading countries. And now to foreign stories. Thai police says one of the suspects apprehended for last month's deadly bomb attack at a popular shrine in Bangkok has confessed to possessing banned explosives. Yusufu Miraili was arrested last week trying to flee across the Thai border into Cambodia. Addressing journalists, the National Police spokesman Prawut Tanvosiri said he had also been carrying a piece of paper with a chemical formula used to make explosives written on it. Tanvosiri also disclosed that the police has issued 2 additional arrest warrants for suspects wanted in connection with the bombing, bringing the total number of arrest warrants to 11. The United Nations has called on European states to guarantee relocation for 200,000 refugees as an increased number of migrants flee to the continent from war-torn nations. UNHCR spokeswoman Melissa Fleming told journalists today that Europe is a wealthy continent that could manage the numbers of people coming in. The UN official said European Union countries need to form a plan where it was mandatory for member states to accept refugees. She said there should be EU-led mega reception centers established in Greece, in Italy and also in Hungary, whereby the people arriving could go to these centers and be received in decent, humane conditions and apply for asylum. Fleming further pointed out that under the current system, countries on Europe's frontier were being overburdened. Bulgaria says it has refused permission to an unspecified number of Russian aircraft to cross its airspace late last week. Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Bettina Zotiva, who disclosed this today, said the planes were said to be carrying humanitarian aid, but information revealed that the declared cargo was not the real one. She said the decision was taken late last week, but did not give details about the number of the planes. Zotiva, however, said the decision was taken independently without pressure from NATO partners. Iraqi's Defense Minister Khalid al-Obeidi came out unharmed after his convoy came under sniper fire on Monday in the western outskirts of the town of Beji, 190 kilometers north of Baghdad. Joint Operations spokesman Brigadier General Yahya Rasool disclosed that the minister is well and safe, adding that a guard was slightly injured in the attack. There's, however, been no immediate claim of responsibility for the attack. Obeidi, who was in Beji as part of a field visit to Salahuddin province, earlier inspected troops at Camp Speicher, a former U.S. military base, and later toured Tikrit, the home city of former President Saddam Hussein. Beji has been a battlefront for more than a year since the seizure by ISIL in June 2014, as it swept through most of northern and western Iraq towards the capital. And now to sports stories. Nigeria's national team coach Sunday Olise hailed his side's improvement after Tuesday's 2-0 home win over Niger Republic at the Adokie Amir Simaka Stadium, Port Harcourt. Ahmed Musa and Simon Moses were all the Super Eagles needed to get back to winning ways, as well as hand coach Sunday Olise's first victory in charge of the senior national team. The team faced a barrage of criticisms following their uninspiring display against Tanzania in Saturday's African Cup of Nations qualifier in Dar es Salaam. But Olise said his side showed a lot of progress in their victory over Francois Zahu's men. The former national team captain praised Usman Mohammed for putting up a commanding performance on Tuesday afternoon, but feels the FC Taraba star still has a lot to learn. Nigeria hosts Group G leaders Egypt in the next Africa Cup of Nations qualifier in March 2016. And finally, former Chelsea star Frank Lampard is confident the side will recover from the substandard start to the season and launch a Premier League title challenge. The reigning champions have only won one of their first 4 matches in 2015, 2016 and already trailed title rivals Manchester City, another of the midfielders' former clubs, by 8 points. But the New York City player is not overly concerned by the early season struggles of Jose Mourinho's side and has confidence they will bounce back promptly. Chelsea returned to action with an away game against Everton on Saturday and rivals A. And that's it on CoreTV Primetime News. But before we go, a quick recap of our major stories. The federal government is set to carry out a review of Nigeria's foreign missions with a view to determining those that are essential. Also, in this program, the Ministry of Power says about 948 billion naira has been spent on the sector since 1999. And Nigerians join the rest of the world to mark International Literacy Day. Thank you so much for staying with me tonight. I am Nana Nyama. To have a lovely night rest.